All right, this is the presentation on the attributes of great photography. When we think of photography, we often talk about a snapshot versus a photograph. Snapshots are taken very quickly. Usually there's not much planning involved in regards to lighting, what's in the background, the composition, or many technical issues. However, with a photograph, it can be quickly taken, but there's much more planning and technique involved. The photographer is always thinking about the lighting, what's in the background, the composition of the images, and what is the focus of the photograph. The first attribute is light. Photography essentially is all about light. The word literally means painting with light. Photography requires that you can read and understand light the same way that you read and understand language. It's actually like a building block of photography. And so you can see there are some bullet points on these slides. As we go through this presentation, or if you want to go through it afterwards, you are going to complete the notes on the attributes of photography. So on slide number 1, photography is all about light. You could summarize that bullet point right here. This is the sheet for your notes on the attributes. When taking a picture, great photographers consider the direction of the light as well as the quality. Is it a hard light or a soft light? How does it engage the subject matter? Light can change the overall emotion or feeling to an image, changing its meaning. So play around with light. Think about how the light is hitting your subject and what meaning you're trying to convey. The second attribute is composition. There's so much to know with composition. The next presentation is actually all about composition. As in great art, photographers generally have a sense of compositional form and balance. When we talk about composition, it's the way that the imagery is arranged to be pleasing to the viewer. So a good place to start is understanding the rule of thirds in photography, and we can set that in your camera and on your cell phones, and we'll do a little bit of rule of thirds work with the composition slideshow. Once you've learned about composition, don't be afraid to play around and break the rules. It's my hope that as you walk out of here at the end of the trimester, you've developed a creative, unique style that's all your own to show the world your view through the camera. The third attribute is timing, and this has to do with anticipating what's going to happen and take as many pictures as you need. Henry Carter Brennan knew how to anticipate what he called the decisive moment. That moment when all of the images in the piece are at its peak. I don't think this picture would be quite as interesting if this girl was not climbing up the wall. And then that leads my eye back, the barbed wire down to this little child. And then I notice the line leading up to this little child here. And so I don't think it would be quite as interesting if all those subjects weren't in their place. I'm sure he took hundreds of pictures of these kids trying to get that right shot. So try to pay attention to what's happening, think about what's going to happen next, and engage the shutter button. Take as many pictures as you need. They are all digital. You can always delete some. You get credit in this class for all the pictures that you take, the good, the bad, the awful, the fantastic. So get used to taking pictures. The last attribute is clear subject, and this is one of those attributes that I think has the biggest impact on your photography right away. Great photographs or photographers generally have a very clear idea of what the core subject is that they want to show the viewer. It's kind of smack dab in your face, here's what you're supposed to look at. So when you're looking to take a picture, think about what is it that I want the viewers to look at, and then take out everything else that's distracting. Take out the unnecessary elements. Pay attention to your background. Simplifying the image is sometimes the best way to improve it. So zoom in on something and get rid of the laundry basket or the dishes in the sink or the cars behind the other cars, and really focus on what you're trying to capture in your photograph and get everything else out. Clear subject, timing, composition, and light. Those are the 4 attributes of photography. You should use them in all of your photographs this whole trimester and beyond.